Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Hope ready to revisit the past. Liam and Thomas clash. The bold and the beautiful spoilers document that Hope Logan finds herself in a box. She is alone in her personal life and under the spotlight at work. Becoming infatuated with John Finnegan was a mistake Hope didn't see coming. However, the fallout from rejecting Thomas Forrester's second marriage proposal was fierce. Losing access to the purpose Thomas played in her life and her adopted son, Douglas Forrester, Henry Samiri, was earth-shaking. It left Hope feeling vulnerable. But instead of channeling her energies into something healthy, she returned to a triangle pattern that formerly included Liam Spencer, Hope, Liam, and Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Jacqueline McInnes Wood are no longer in a triangle with each other. Liam might still be in Finn, but she hadn't been assigned to Steffi's case the night of her second motorcycle accident. Time passed, and viewers were pleased because the steam and lope angle ran its course. Steffi has demonstrated zero interest in Liam since Finn became and remains the new love of her life. As for Hope, she has yet to look in Liam's direction since Thomas told her he would not continue in a loveless relationship. But Clifton's character, like Hope, remains single. Liam had a heart-to-heart with Finn. That came after Novlan's character saved Steffi from likely death at the hands of his deranged cousin, Luna Nozoa. Talking at the hospital, and again when Steffi was present at the Cliff House, reinforced that Liam finally recognized reality. Steffi not only loves Finn, but he is also the right guy for her at this point in her life. Finn laid down the law for Liam after he and Steffi became a couple, saying that Steffi's multiple-time ex-husband would not be disrupting her life. That effectively ended Liam's belief that he had an open door at the Cliff House, where Finn was now the man of the house. All of the above means that Liam is not looking in Steffi's direction and could wink at him reconsidering, or at least being open to hope. She appears open to a revival with Thomas if he returns from Europe and decides that Paris Buckingham, Diamond White, is no longer to his liking. They announced their engagement before their brief stay in Los Angeles, California, ended. Yet, a new triangle with Hope at the center and Thomas and Liam on either point that puts Hope at the center, with Thomas and Liam on either end, is an easy road to travel. It would mine recent history and revive Liam's other rivalry with Thomas. Hope wants to avoid focusing on Finn to restore her dignity and protect Hope for the future's future. To do so, she may choose to refocus on a past love, Liam, and a potential one, Thomas. The bright Los Angeles sun shone through the expansive Forrester Creations office, casting long golden rays across the sleek modern furniture. In the air, there was tension. Unspoken words hanging between the two men standing on opposite sides of the room. Liam Spencer and Thomas Forrester had clashed before, but this time something felt different, heavier. Hope Logan had just left the room, her footsteps fading into the hallway, but her presence lingered, like a warm breeze refusing to dissipate. She was the center of their universe, the gravity around which both men orbited. But lately, her heart and mind had been tugged in directions she hadn't expected. Thomas had been different recently. More stable, more grounded. He'd worked tirelessly to prove he had changed after years of obsessive behavior. And Liam, ever the protector, had been wary of Thomas's transformation, refusing to believe the leopard could change its spots so easily. Now, with Hope caught between the past she thought she had moved beyond and the future she wasn't certain of, the stage was set for a clash that had been simmering for months. Earlier that day, Hope had been quiet, contemplative. She stood in front of the mirror in her office, adjusting the delicate silk of a new Forrester design. Her mind wasn't on the fabric, though. It was on Liam and Thomas. It was impossible to ignore how her heart raced whenever she was near Thomas these days, a far cry from the unease she once felt in his presence. His dedication, his creativity, his passion for their work. He had changed, and in some strange, unexpected way, she found herself drawn to him again. But there was Liam, her rock, the father of her children, the man who had stood by her through every trial and tribulation. How could she forget that? How could she ignore the history they shared, the life they had built? It was a question that had been tormenting her for weeks. And yet, the lingering thought of Thomas wouldn't leave her alone. I need to revisit the past, Hope whispered to herself, catching her reflection's eye. She wasn't sure what that meant yet. Was it a revisiting of the history she shared with Liam? Or was it a recognition that maybe, just maybe, her feelings for Thomas weren't as dead as she once thought? Meanwhile, Liam was pacing in the office he shared with Hope. His mind was racing with every conversation, every glance, and every small sign that Thomas might be worming his way back into Hope's heart. He didn't trust him. How could he? Thomas had spent years manipulating people to get what he wanted, and what he had wanted most of all was Hope. Liam's jaw clenched as he recalled the darkest moments. Thomas's schemes, the lies, the obsessions. Even now, despite the supposed change in Thomas's behavior, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that it was all just another elaborate ploy. He hasn't changed, Liam muttered under his breath, eyes narrowed. He's just waiting for the right moment. But there was something else eating at Liam, a gnawing fear that maybe Thomas wasn't the only one to blame. What if Hope, after all these years, was still harboring feelings for him? What if she was open to the possibility that Thomas had truly changed? Liam felt a wave of anger rise in his chest, not just toward Thomas but toward the situation, toward the possibility that Hope was slipping away from him. When Hope walked into the office to find both Liam and Thomas there, the air felt charged, like the calm before a storm. She could sense the tension even before they spoke. Liam's body was rigid, his arms crossed defensively across his chest. Thomas, on the other hand, stood with an almost casual confidence, hands in his pockets, though his eyes never left Liam's. "We need to talk," Liam said, his voice tight, his eyes burning into Thomas. "About what's really going on here." Hope sighed. She had expected this moment to come, though she had hoped it wouldn't be so soon, or so charged with emotion. But Liam and Thomas had been on this collision course for a while now, and there was no turning back. Thomas stepped forward, his gaze steady. "Liam, I don't want to fight. I'm not the man I used to be. I'm here for Hope, because we work together, and because I respect her. I've spent years trying to prove that I'm not the person you think I am." Liam scoffed. "You think you can just say a few nice things, do some good work, and suddenly everything's forgiven? That Hope will forget everything you did to her, to us." Thomas's face hardened. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I know I can't change the past, but people do change. Liam, I've changed. And if you can't see that, that's on you." Hope stood between them, her heart pounding. She could feel the weight of both men's words, the gravity of their expectations pulling her in different directions. She loved Liam. He was the father of her children, her partner, her steady presence in a world full of chaos. But there was something about Thomas, something that had shifted in the past months, something that had rekindled an old, unexpected flame within her. "I don't want to do this," Hope said, her voice breaking the silence that had stretched on too long. "I don't want to be caught between you two anymore." Both men looked at her, their faces softening. But the tension remained. "Hope, you have to see that Thomas is dangerous," Liam said, his voice softer now but still pleading. "He can't be trusted." Thomas stepped forward, his expression sincere. "Hope, I would never hurt you again. All I want is to help you, to support you. The past is behind us." Hope's eyes welled up with tears. She knew she had to make a decision, but how could she choose? How could she revisit the past and figure out what her heart truly wanted? "I need time," Hope finally said, stepping back from both of them. "I need to figure this out on my own. I can't make any decisions right now. Not about us, not about anything. I'm sorry." Liam looked devastated, his eyes searching hers for some sign of reassurance, while Thomas remained calm, his expression unreadable. "You'll come to your senses," Liam whispered, as though trying to convince himself as much as her. "You'll remember what we have." Thomas simply nodded. "Take all the time you need, Hope. I'll be here." As Hope turned and left the office, the door closing softly behind her, the silence between Liam and Thomas grew heavier. The battle lines had been drawn, but the war was far from over. In the end, it wasn't just about Thomas and Liam anymore. It was about Hope's future, and which path she was truly ready to take.